Hi, this is Dave again from TCS Manufacturing. We're going to cover some cleaning of some different styles of firearms. We're going to start off in this video with a 20 gauge shotgun. It's a side-by-side. And we're going to go over the use of not only our chemicals but our cleaning equipment as well, and show you how fast and effective our products are. In this video we're going to use the TCS Tactical Cleaning Solvent. This solvent can be used not only in the bore but on the entire firearm as well. We're going to use the Protect and Serve outer lubricant as a rust inhibitor. When we're all finished with the whole process, we'll be using that. And we're going to lubricate our gun with the Ultimate Firearms lubricant, which is a fully synthetic oil, no petroleum in it whatsoever. We're going to use the TCS 20 gauge cleaning jag in conjunction with the appropriate size TCS cotton cleaning patches, and we're going to clean the inside of the bore and any fouling that's on anything that's more difficult to remove. We're going to use the TCS bore paste along with our chamber rod and our one-piece shotgun rod. We're back and we're going to start cleaning this double barrel shotgun. It's a 20 gauge, so we're going to be using the products that we showed you earlier. First thing I want to show you is the inside of the water table on this shotgun and show you the dirt that's there. And we give demos quite often, and we always tell the people who are watching that you're going to have to look quick because this doesn't take long. Okay? So I'm going to start off with the TCS Tactical Cleaning Solvent, and this is right now I'm using one in a 4-ounce pump spray bottle. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to take just a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to apply a little bit of the cleaning solvent to the surface, odor-free, non-toxic, easy to use, and I'm going to clean the front of this shotgun. I'm going to watch it fast because this doesn't take very long. So I've got the cleaning solvent on a paper towel. I'm going to go in and clean up the carbon that was left behind from shooting. And that's how fast that takes. Okay, whatever's left behind from that one quick fast cleaning, we're going to wipe it off again. Okay, and clean that right up. So if you take a look, there's very little of anything left on there. Okay, seems to be a little mark around the firing pin holes, and we're going to address that right now with some bore paste. So we're going to take a shotgun cleaning patch and we're going to take a little bit of bore paste, broadcast that on there, and we're going to use that to clean up the caked on carbon that's there. It's not going to take much. We're going to broadcast it. The package comes with the spatula, tongue depressor. So we're going to get in there and we're going to clean up that little bit of carbon that's in there on the face, and that cleans up literally in seconds. We're going to go back at it with our cleaning solvent on the paper towel and remove any residual bore paste and clean that right up. And as you can see, clean as a whistle. You can take the solvent and clean the exterior of the gun. Since it's odor-free, you don't have to evacuate the building after you're done. You can wipe it off and take off any other dirt that might be on there, clean that up, and so forth. And then when you're finished, we'll lubricate this up and clean it. Finish cleaning it. And there you have it. And then that's the receiver. Now we're going to spend a little bit of time addressing the barrels on the shotgun. Going to grab another piece of paper towel, and we're going to do the same thing with the face of the breech back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the dirt that's on the face of this, the barrels here. and it's the same process as before. Put the solvent on the paper towel, wipe it across, and that is how fast it takes to get off the carbon. Now what we're taking off of this is what's left over from the residue from being fired. There's some unburned powder and some soot and carbon residue, but that's as difficult as it is to take off. And keep in mind, if you clean your gun really well before you go out and shoot and before you store it, and the next time you go out to clean the gun, it's going to clean faster and faster because there's going to be less previous dirt that's going to be being taken out. All right, we're going to get ready to clean the inside of the barrels. We're going to clean the chambers and the chokes first, and then we're going to clean the inside of the bore. The chambers and chokes, believe it or not, can receive a bigger buildup of carbon deposits and lead than other places on the barrel. The chokes, because it's being constricted and forced down and pushed down into the metal, and the chambers, the gases are being blown by in between the shell of the shotgun shell and the chamber, and it can build up in that area. So we're going to take this and we're going to start with the chamber end, okay, and we're going to put that in, and I'm going to wiggle the barrels around, and I'm going to apply a moderate amount of pressure. I don't want to crush the barrels. I don't want to bend the ribs. I don't want to do any of that. I just simply want to hold it, so it doesn't have to be absolutely rock tight, but we don't want it to fall out on the ground. So we're going to start off. We're going to use our shotgun patches, our 20 gauge bore jag, and our choke and chamber rod, and we're going to go in there and we're going to clean the back end. Apply some bore solvent to that, okay, and then migrate it around to get the whole patch saturated. Because the chambers are larger in diameter than the bore, I'm going to use 2 patches. That's going to take up the extra space. Okay, I'm going to run that in and out up to what's called the forcing cone that's in the barrel, and you'll be able to feel it. It'll go in and it'll want to stop. So I'm going to clean the bore with that, and you can see the debris on the patch. We're taking off a little bit of there's some powder, some carbon, there's some flakes of gold in there, which are probably pieces of the base of the shell that was scratched off by the extractors, okay, as those worked. So I'm going to take that, flip it over, okay, gives me another semi-clean surface here to go in and clean the other. And I can rotate this and I can move it around back and forth. I'm going up to the forcing cone where it's stopping there because I've got 2 patches. When we take and clean that, the bores, and you can see the dirt that's coming off, there's some debris from being outside, more carbon and so forth there. So we've started with that. Cleaning the barrel with our product is kind of a process, and you always want to start with the solvent. So then I'm going to take and flip the barrel around, do the same process of wiggling this a little bit to get it into a position where it stays. And now I'm going to want to clean the chokes. Now, for that I'm going to use 1 because we've gone from something that's oversized to something that's undersized, so 2 patches won't fit through there. We're going to put that in, and we're going to go back and forth. And what we're going to have happening here is this solvent on contact is starting to dissolve the carbon and get underneath the plastic from the shotgun wads. Our solvent is highly effective on removing wadding from inside the shotguns, and does a wonderful job of taking the plastic out of muzzleloader barrels when you're using sabots. So we'll put that back and forth. Now you notice we only cleaned a very few inches of that, and you can see the amount of dirt that our solvent picked up already. Being a contact cleaner, it's going to work much more effectively, much faster than the other solvents on the market. And it'll also be something that you'll be allowed to be able to get into contact with, be in the environment. It doesn't have a heavy gas vapor, so it's not getting in the air. It's not going to bother you. It's odorless. Now I want to show you the inside of the bores, and I don't know how well this is going to photograph, but that's the top barrel and the bottom barrel. The top barrel is the one I put the patch down. The bottom barrel is still dirty, and you should be able to see the difference between those 2. So we showed the difference between the uncleaned and the clean bore, and now we're going to clean the bottom choke, and then we'll move on to cleaning the barrels themselves. And if you notice through this entire process that we're not using a brush. We do sell brushes, we do make brushes, but our cleaning process pretty much, once you've gotten the gun clean, eliminates the need for one. Now you can see how quickly and how little of that bore we cleaned to get that much dirt on the patch. Okay, I'm sure you've never seen that kind of response from cleaning properties and cleaning solvents that you've used before. We're going to go around the end, take any little residual off the crown. Okay, and now we're going to move on to cleaning the barrel. Now, in all firearms, whenever possible, you always want to clean from the breech end or the chamber end. This helps you align your cleaning rod correctly and so forth. So we're locking that up. We still have a little bit of movement, but it's not going to fall on the ground. Take the jag off of the chamber and choke rod and put it on our shotgun rod. And keep in mind, if you don't need a rod this large, we do custom manufacture rods. It runs between $10 and $20 as far as an upcharge on the rod, but if you want something smaller or you need something longer, we've made rods I think up to 6 foot long for some of the old fowling pieces and things like that. So the cleaning jag goes on the end, screws right in, and then we're going to start off again with the paste, or the solvent rather, and then we're going to move to the paste afterwards. So I got 2 patches there. And if you notice, virtually nothing on the table. The patches are highly absorbent. So I'm going to start with the left barrel, or the one that's up on top. And we've already cleaned the chamber, so we're going to go through and out. And I just want to show you that patch. That is one fast patch through the bore. Literally once up and down, and that's what came out. We're going to go at it again with another patch. We're going to run it up to the end of the barrel. I put my finger on the end so it doesn't poke through, but I do want it to come out to where the first O-ring passes through, so I know I got the entire bore. And then I'm going to come back down through and back up. I'm going to make several passes. That first patch will have taken out quite a bit of material. Okay, so everything that's on there, and then we have that. Now, I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom barrel, and then we're going to use the paste to take out anything that's been burned into the surface with the hot gases, any residual lead that's in there, and so forth. So I'm going to take 2 patches, put the solvent on it, migrate that around a little bit with the gloves on, go to the bottom barrel, or the right barrel. I'm going to put it in, and I can feel dirt. Of course, I shot the right barrel far more than I shoot the left barrel, so this is going to be quite a bit different. Back out, and then we're going to go back out the muzzle, and we're going to show the debris that's on the cleaning patch. And what we've got on here is quite a bit of plastic, as well as the carbon and the powder fouling and so forth from that barrel. We're going to go back through and do another one, get a little bit more of that out of there, go up and back a few times up to the end of the choke and back out, taking anything that we got in there out. Okay, and then that's the second patch, and you can see on these the 3 O-rings. They give you 360-degree contact with the surface. Whether it's a smooth bore or rifle bore, it's going to push that patch and that cleaning compound and these solvents up against the wall of the barrel, down, if the barrel's rifled, down into the rifling, into the lands and grooves, and it's going to clean out your debris. So now that we've got that, we've gone through it with the solvent, we've loosened up anything that might be in there. We still have possibly some plastic in the bores and some lead from going through the wad and so forth, so we're going to work on taking that out. So the next process is going to be working with the TCS manufacturing bore paste. Okay, the bore paste comes with a wooden tongue depressor or spatula, and it comes with written instructions on how to use it. So we're going to take the top off the bore paste. We're going to spread some of that across the patch, and we're going to spread it across the cotton patch. Okay, we do one for the top barrel or the left barrel, and one for the bottom barrel or the right barrel. And that's as difficult as that is to use. So we take the patch, same thing, line it up in the center. So the center of the patch is where the bore is. We're going to push it in. We're going to go up to the crown, up to the muzzle, and we're going to go back out. Now if you hear that, that's a little popping sound. That's giving us a perfect seal inside the barrel. And what that means is we're not missing anything. So we're going to go back and forth. In there, and what's happening now is this patch is cleaning out the barrel. People always ask me, well, is that going to wear out my steel? Is that going to give me a problem? It's not. This is a very soft gray garnet. It's not embedding into the steel. It's being reacted with simply a piece of cotton, so you're not like lapping it between two pieces of steel, so it's not going to be a problem. Okay, this is taking out more dirt and debris from the inside of the barrel. This is what the solvent didn't take out. Okay, I'm going to visually inspect this barrel to make sure that we're having good progress, and the barrel is looking in very good shape. So we're going to move on to the second barrel. So we'll line up the second patch on the next barrel. We're going to run that into the bore, going to run it up to the muzzle, and we're going to come back out, and we're going to repeat that process over and over again. And chances are that this particular barrel is going to show a little bit more dirt than the previous barrel because it gets shot more, shooting skeet and so forth. You're shooting singles more than you're shooting doubles. So we'll go back and forth and take that out. And obviously you can see there's a little bit more dirt and debris on that one than the other. And like I say, this is a process, so now that we've done that, we're going to want to go through and we're going to want to take out more of the dirt, and we're also going to want to take any remnants of our paste out. You can see how much solvent I put on those two patches. It's highly absorbent. I'll put that in the top or the left barrel, run it up to the muzzle, go back and forth, and now what we're doing is we're taking out a little bit more debris and any remnants of the bore paste. I'll do the bottom barrel or the right barrel. Run that all the way up to the muzzle, back and forth, bring it in, go up, bring it back, and take that out, and you see the remnants of that. Then we can dry patch the gun, get any solvent out. You don't necessarily have to do this if you're going to go shoot it. Our solvent will evaporate. And there you have it, the solvent's out. Now if you're going to go shoot the gun, you're ready to go. If you say, I'm not going to be using the gun for a bit, I'm going to put it back in the gun safe or back into storage, and you want to lubricate your bores. You don't want to leave them dry because that'll be susceptible to rust, and we don't want that. So what we're going to take is a couple more patches, and we're going to take our Protect and Serve lubricant, and we're going to lubricate and protect the inside of the barrel. Take this, put it on a pump. It's in a pump spray bottle, so I'll just put some of that on a patch, and I'll run the patch back and forth in and out of the chamber, up and down the barrel. Okay, make sure you're going all the way through and back, and that's going to leave a coating of oil in that particular barrel. I'm going to take another patch and do the second barrel. A little bit of oil on there. In and out of the chamber a couple times. Run it up to the muzzle. Back out to the chamber and then back up through the gun. One more time. Make sure I got all the surfaces I need oiled, and you're fine. This oil, the application process for that is pretty simple. I'm going to cover that in just a second. But I want to clean now, I want to clean the outside of these barrels. So we got the inside of the barrels cleaned and oiled, and now we're going to clean the outside of the barrels, which is a very simple process. This is something you can't do with other manufacturers' cleaning solvents because you'd never be able to exist in the environment in which you were cleaning these, because the odors and smells would get you. So you put some solvent on a paper towel and you rub it back and forth across the finish. What you're going to be taking off on here is, you can see some dirt, some old hardened oil, so forth, maybe a small amount of surface corrosion. And we're going to walk through this and go back and forth over the surface. Take your paper towel, work it into the nooks and crannies, okay, and anywhere where the dirt's going to lie. If you can't get in with paper towel, you can always get yourself Q-tips, cotton swabs. They're included in our cleaning kits, which we're going to talk about. And you can get that in to the areas. And being a contact cleaner, it's going to pick up the dirt and debris really quickly. And it's also going to take things off that the other solvents were unable to loosen and remove. This is a great way to get underneath your extractors or ejectors, depending on what type of firearm, shotgun you have. And you can get in there, pick up any loose powder, so forth, and get underneath that and get that cleaned up. As you can see, the solvent is drying off the surface of the barrels. If you want to speed that up, you can get yourself a shop rag or an oilcloth or a piece of paper towel and just remove any excess that's on there, and you're good to go. Now the next phase in this is protecting the outside of these barrels and the outside of the receiver. And for that, we have two different lubricants that work for that. We've got the Protect and Serve Gun Shield, which is a corrosion inhibitor and corrosion protection. It has several different properties inside. There's rust inhibitors as well as a waxing agent. The waxing agent allows the carrier to evaporate and allows a coating of this oil to stay on the surface, becoming an oxygen barrier, preventing the metal from oxidizing. And we also have another lubricant called Protect and Lube, and this is different from this, as it doesn't have a waxing agent. And the reason this one doesn't is if you can use this on the working mechanism of the gun. This is not recommended for the working mechanism of the gun, because if you took this firearm into cold weather, into your zeros and your minuses, this could cause a malfunction. So we've designed this primarily for the outside of the gun as a corrosion inhibitor and for a storage oil. This we've tested down to -30, and we've had great success with it. So this can be used on everything, but it's designed to keep the outside of the gun looking fresh and clean. The carrier evaporates, but the oil stays behind on that. So I'm going to take this Protect and Serve, and I'm going to spray it on the surface of the metal. Okay. You can take a cotton patch or cloth and migrate it. Okay. Get it wherever you miss with the spray. Keeping in mind this does have an odor to it. Okay. It's not terrible, but there is an odor. And the proper use of this would be to apply it. Okay. You can spray it on and let it sit, or you can propagate it and move it around with the cloth and let it sit. And you would like to have it sit for between 24 and 48 hours before taking it out in harsh weather. That'll allow that waxing agent to start to happen on there, and this will give you extended protection. In saltwater, we sell a lot to duck hunters and hunters that are hunting near the ocean, things like that, and this will protect the metal and keep your gun from rusting. Then we're going to take and make sure we lubricate the outside of this part of the shotgun, the receiver. Okay, we're going to put some more of that on a cloth, and we're going to wipe that down. Wipe it on all the surfaces that are exposed, inside and around, and then as well put some in the water table, okay, the tang, the barrel lever area, and lubricate all those parts as well and protect them. One part we have left on this to clean and protect is the forend. Now this is an SKB, so there's no mechanism inside the forend other than the release. So this is a relatively easy part to clean. There again, take some solvent, spray that on, go through, clean the hinge. This is a very important part to clean. You want to remove all the oil that was there previously, and take any debris that might stuck to that oil. Clean that up, okay, and get that out. Anything left there as far as debris can heavily wear your gun, causing problems and longevity issues with that. So that's clean. We're going to take and lubricate the metal, protect it with the protect and serve. Put that on the surface, and that's going to create a barrier for the oxidation and things like that to prevent that from happening. And we're just hitting all the surfaces there. Now, once that's done, there's one critical step left in the cleaning process, and that's lubricating the firearm. We have the TCS Manufacturing Ultimate Firearm Lubricant. This is a fully synthetic oil. There's no petroleum in it. And the reason that that's important is, in the United States, to put something on the label, it just has to be in the bottle. So there's a lot of lubricants out there that advertise themselves as having this, it's synthetic, and they have PTFEs in them and things like that. But ours is 100%. It's 100% synthetic. The carrier is synthetic. There's no petroleum in it. And that's very different from most everything else. Under analysis, there's some oils out there on the market that only contain 1% synthetics. And they're allowed to put it on the label because they actually added some to their formula. And most of it's just petroleum oil, which is giving you very little protection on inside your gun as far as mechanical moving parts and wear and so forth. So we're going to start with the barrels, and where it's important on these to lubricate is to get one drop on the ejector, and then you're going to want to move it back and forth and function it, and this will push the oil into areas where it needs to be. By capillary action, it'll get sucked in. Then you want to cover the bearing surfaces. Now the bearing surfaces, these are the locks. So we want to hit the back of the lock. We can migrate some of that lubricant around with our fingers. And on the hinge pin and the hinge pin seats, which are inside the barrel, okay, so we want a little bit there. And on the sides that go down into the water table to eliminate the friction that happens when you open and close the gun. So we're getting that oil all in there. We can do the bottom where it meets the water table. So that needs to be lubricated. On the fore end, same thing. You'll see where the friction has occurred, and we're going to take a little bit of lubricant and we're going to put it inside the hinge. There's no sense in pouring it in there and putting a lot of oil in there. It's just going to drip down on the stock or onto the barrels and so forth. And then this one has a mechanical release inside, so we might as well put a little bit of oil in there and a little bit on the latch part. We're going to move that back and forth, okay? And that latch reacts with this part here on your barrel. We're going to put a little bit of lube there, maybe a quarter of a drop, and we're going to migrate that around as well to keep those parts from galling or having excessive friction. So now we're going to lubricate this, and the important areas to lubricate are, of course, this friction area here. This is where the barrel opens and closes on each time, and you see I put very little on and migrate it around with your finger, okay? And of course the water table can be oiled for protection as well. And then down inside there's a hinge pin. I'll put a drop of oil there, and then a locking bolt, and I'll put a drop of oil there. I'll run that back and forth to migrate that lubricant around. And basically that is the process in cleaning your shotgun. Thanks for watching.